Route 104, on the home of rock and roll, Q104.
Route 104 with Deerfield. And with me on the telephone, that's close enough, Roger. I've got Roger Nelson here. Actually, you're just up the street from us here on Kemp, aren't you?
I'm real close to you, actually.
Well, a little too close.
I'm just over at 3600 Kemp Road at Halifax Cycles, just a couple doors over from the Q Zoo.
Oh, nice.
So we're operating a nobody in and nobody in the doors policy over here, but we're very fortunate in that I've still been able to do a bit of work and keep people's bicycles moving, and we're booking online and not letting anybody in the door. We don't really need anybody handling our stuff, but we're happy to try and sell it and book in bikes for service and stuff like that. So that's largely what I'm up to. So I don't have the plethora of time on my hands that some musicians have on their hands right now. Not that I really wish for it.
Well, we were when we set this up. We were all excited about. You had a couple of gigs lined up with Deerfield, but not to be, unfortunately, in these strange times.
That's right. Things have kind of turned on their heads. So I actually spent. As I have been doing for a number of years, I spent the month of February in Mexico, where I perform pretty regularly and get involved with the music scene on the West Coast there. And so I kind of came home. I came home the first day of March, full of piss and vinegar, ready to kind of ramp Deerfield up to the caliber of what we were doing down there. So I was playing with a band that had a fiddle in it, a band called the Ranch People, actually. So I was playing lead guitar for them, and they had an acoustic guitar and fiddle and real hot drummer and a real great bass player. And so I did probably 15 shows with them in about a month or so.
Mm-hmm. And great hats too. Great. The one thing I noticed, terrific hats.
Yeah, you got to have the hats for sure. Absolutely. But yeah, so I got home and I was kind of like, man, I'm going to miss that fiddle a lot. But I really learned a lot of fun tricks and ways to play off it with the guitar and stuff like that. So I'm real fortunate in that in my own family, I have a cousin, Angus MacDonald, who's quite an accomplished fiddle player himself. So, and I already had some stuff lined up, of course. I was lining stuff up from a distance, and I had so we had a show lined up at the New Scotland Brewery. That was intended to be our first show as a six-piece. So I had Angus on the fiddle and my buddy Greg on the pedal steel, and then the core of the band, Catherine sings and plays acoustic guitar. I write and sing and play electric guitar, and Devin Shell Fox on the bass and Adam Martin on the drums. And unfortunately, that performance was fairly quickly converted into an online stream of Catherine and myself. We pretty much played the show, but we certainly quite modified from what our original intention was. Mm-hmm. And of course, going from there forward from there, things are really up in the air. We have, of course, I've got a show booked with Gabe Minikin in late April, and it's not looking very good for anything happening at Beerley's in the immediate future. So that show will be probably be converted to a live stream as well.
Right. And a six-piece, I mean, you're breaking a law. I mean, anything more than five, you could go to the clink for that, I think.
Yeah, well, this is just it. Yeah, we can't even get together. And my drummer he's diabetic, so he's not leaving his house whatsoever. We're quite concerned about his health and exposure. So, we're not even toying with the idea of having a rehearsal. It's just much too risky for everybody involved to be playing with those ideas. But, there is some stuff we can do in the meantime. I'm very fortunate to have a home studio that I've had and been using for a number of years. And prior to leaving for a month in Mexico in January, we were kind of doing a bit of tracking at that time. So I do have half a dozen bed tracks that are kind of in the works that need to be flushed out. Some ideas need to be flushed out and stuff. And the recording process, I tend to do most of it myself as the time presents itself, and then kind of finish stuff up and take it to the band. So there'll be some of that going on. I'll be developing songs and ideas, and you may see another release on the Bandcamp there, the Deerfield Bandcamp site.
Cool.
we can get something else together.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's spin something else. What's another good track to spin? What do you suggest?
Well, you're probably starting to notice a little bit of a Mexico theme with my conversation here. The last couple of releases,
I've got a margarita going here as we speak. Yeah.
Right. I have an uncle that's been there my whole life. He was there before I was born, and he married a local person. So it's always kind of in my mind.
Yeah.
And as I kind of get older, I'm able to organize my life in such a way that I can spend more and more time there. When did we drop that track? I guess it was last summer. I dropped a track where I had a good friend of mine, Christian Melendez from Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, played the lead guitar on the track, and that's Against Me, which is a murder ballad about a murder straight out of the community of Deerfield, Nova Scotia. So pretty neat. We of course collaborated on that 6,000 kilometers apart. He had never heard the song prior to me messaging him and saying, I got a song here with a guitar solo in it. Would you be interested in doing it? And he had been kind of back and forth with me about, I got a recording set up now, and we should collaborate. I was like, yeah, absolutely. Let's do it today.
Isn't that great that you can do that, though? I mean, it's technology.
Amazing, really.
Incredible.
So from 6,000 kilometers apart, he sends me like a bunch of takes. I send him the file. He sends me back his files, and I compile it on the computer. And so I then load up onto the Bandcamp and do a release of Against Me. He and I have never played the song in the same room until this past February when we got to see each other again.
Incredible.
For the very first time.
Man. Let's give that one a spin. It's Deerfield on Route 104.
Yeah.
Near the shoreline of Lake Ellenwood, where three men stood, one man lays on the ground. Those two men packed him up and left in a stolen car. No, they weren't going far, just into town. It's done, there's nothing you can do. Are you with me or against me? It's done, there's nothing you can do. Are you with me or against me?
Route 104, Deerfield, that is Against Me. Got Roger Nelson from Deerfield, kind of the Deerfield OG. I mean, how far back does the Deerfield story go? You guys have been around for in one form or another for a long time now.
Here's the joke. When I take Deerfield out to play a show now, they can order their own drink. Deerfield just turned 19.
Excellent. Yeah, there you go. So yeah, that's and so many people have come and gone over the years too. There's a pretty good core though, right?
Well, largely at this point, I mean, what am I on? Revision 7.2, I think. Deerfield is revision 7.2.
Oh, I have to download the new patch. Great, you know.
Right. So for this go around, I have a fairly new rhythm section. They've been with me about 2 years now, and of course, Catherine's been with me a decade, both as my partner as well as a musical partner. So you know, there's a fairly long-standing thing going on there, and I mean, I started it in 2001, really as a kind of some leftovers from a band, some left songwriting from a band I had previous to that. And I asked my buddy, I have these songs left over from when we had a band. My friend Aaron Wallace, who does the Sleepless Nights, and I said, "What are you going to call it?" And he just looked at me and said, "Well, you're going to call it Deerfield, dummy. You're
sure.
from Deerfield, of course." Like
Boston, Kansas, Deerfield. Sure. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
And
we've been flying under that handle for almost 20 years now.
Man, and so many musical styles that you incorporate too.
Yeah, I mean, it's largely influenced by country rock, but I mean, country rock's a pretty broad term, so we dabble in lots of stuff. Of course, I grew up, you know, some of the first music that I sort of remember, like the Harvest record from Neil Young, and of course, lots of kind of folk and Americana growing up from my folks. And a bit of old country. My dad was kind of into Charlie Pride and Johnny Cash and stuff, so that was always just kind of on the surface. But then, as I got into music, growing up in Yarmouth, we were either trying to compete with or get on bills with Burnt Black, and you know, I played with the guys in Kerry for a few times, subbed in with them here and there, which later became Winter Sleep, and of course I had punk and metal bands with Ryan Cook called Shatterproof, and I did a band for about a decade here in Halifax called Big Game Hunt that previously kind of stemmed from a Yarmouth band, so we were really ignoring most of the stuff that I grew up with.
well, Ryan certainly took a turn for the country too, didn't he, in recent years? I mean,
yeah, for sure. I think I had Deerfield going maybe 4 or 5 years, and he approached me and said he had written a couple of songs. I said, well, there's no time like the present. I got a show at the Khyber. Why don't you come to a rehearsal and we'll go play your songs? And so we did. I remember doing that with them, and then about a year later, he calls me up. He says, "Yeah, so I got about a dozen songs now, and I got a little tour lined up. I'm looking for a lead guitar player." So I did that with them for a couple of years, running around the Atlantic region.
Oh, baby.
Miramichi and Cape Breton and all over the place.
Man.
And then he kind of reformatted the thing from being like a 5 or 6 piece ruckus honky tonk to more of a singer-songwriter kind of operation. But I really like that ruckus.
Yeah, really, yeah.
Vibe. So I like it when the guitars get thrown in the air and you know, the amps fall over and the reverb crashes and all those. Like, to me, that's just like the excitement of live music, and it's got every place in a country rock show as it does in a metal or a hard rock show in my mind.
Oh, well, we've had to put that on hold for a little bit, unfortunately. No gigs to speak of, but you're quite active doing live streams. You just did one fairly recently.
Well, I've been trying to throw up you know, snippets of my own stuff, or just, you know, that site that's going now, the Nova Scotia Kitchen Party, is a pretty awesome thing, and I've been contributing to that a bit. But yeah, just this past Friday, Catherine and I decided that we would actually, when 7 o'clock rolled around and we were supposed to be playing at New Scotland, well, damn it, we're going to play our show. So we did it from the garage. We streamed it live to our Facebook page. We had about 2,000 people tune in and check it out, and it was a lot of fun. She was actually probably more nervous than I've ever seen her for a performance, which is wild because the room contained literally her and I.
That's it, yeah.
But then when you look at the numbers, it kind of makes sense because we don't all that often or ever perform for 2,000 people at one time. You know, a couple hundred is probably about as big as we usually get to do. So she was nervous for good reason.
Yeah. But, I mean, this could change everything, though, couldn't it? I mean, people still love getting out, but if you can't get out, you still want to watch music. And, I mean, a few years down the road, I'm just wondering if this will change anything, you know?
Well, we're going to see a massive shift in technology and infrastructure, no question. And it's kind of stuff that people have been hinting at and hemming and hawing about for a while. But this whole isolation COVID deal is just going to put people's money where their mouth is, so to speak. I mean, my bike shop is a perfect example. We implemented online booking for tune-ups and online. All our inventory is online for sales, and we did that a year ago. And this week, people started using it. But you know, prior to this, it was there, and we're kind of like, man, why do we have these services? I don't know if it's going to get used. But now people don't have a choice, and I think what you'll see, same with grocery stores, same with anybody selling anything, you know, live music performances. What you'll see is once people work out the bugs and figure out how to do it and figure out what they like about it, what they don't like it, you're going to see it continue. You know, the world's not going to exactly go back to the way it once was, even if we get over this whole thing. There's going to be some changes that linger forever.
Interesting times, to say the least. My God. Well, why don't we play a little clip of you and Catherine from this past weekend?
Yeah, sounds great.
Yeah, sweet. Roger, what's the best place to get you on the web? You're on Facebook. You're on all the Bandcamp. You're on all the regular outlets, right?
Yeah, we're dragging our heels a little bit. 19 years later, developing a website. Although I did just buy GarageCountry.com. For a domain name. So we will have that up and running in the near future. But at the moment, you can find us facebook.com/Deerfield Music, and you can also find us on Bandcamp. Oh man, am I going to say the wrong thing? I think it's Deerfield Bandcamp. Let me check it.
Oh, hold on. I think I might have it. Let's have a race to see who can get it first.
It's deerfieldmusic.bandcamp.com. That's what it was.
Okay, yeah. Good.
So I kind of use Deerfield Music as the handle for my online stuff to differentiate it from the place, Deerfield.
There we are. Don't want the Chamber of Commerce coming and suing your ass, do we?
Yeah. Those 20 community members get right up in my grill.
You never know. Rog, thanks for checking in, man.
Hey, thanks a lot for having me, and stay safe, bud.
We'll see you out there soon, hopefully. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, on a warm summer's day last summer, I sure was missing my aunt and uncle in Mexico. It was feeling a lot like a Mexico afternoon in the middle of February, except here it was the middle of July. And I was thinking about all the ways that they've traveled back and forth across the border and up and down the continent, and how I hope to do the same sometime. And the wonderful culture they've exposed me to down there. And this is really a song all about that. It's called Pretty Senoritas. And it goes exactly like this. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
When you pick me up and
side. We can also see the pretty senoritas coming out to greet us. In the squares of every village and town you go. Hard-working fellas, try not to be jealous. I'm pretty senoritas saying hello. Trading that old Chevrolet for some kind of Volkswagen thing. We could drive it to the beach every day, at least until the spring. So great to everyone, please paradise. Just try to enjoy yourselves here with us tonight. Those pretty senoritas going out to greet us. In the squares of every village and town you go. Them hard-working fellas, try not to be jealous. Them pretty senoritas saying hello. Yeah, them pretty senoritas saying hello. Yeah, them pretty senoritas saying hello.
That is a lovely song.
There's one for all the pretty senoritas, like this one sitting right beside me.
Cheers. Thank you.
Route 104 with Deerfield. And we finished it up with Pretty Senoritas, and that's a track that they kind of redid for a little acoustic jam that they put on the intertubes last week. Nice to see Raj is staying somewhat sane during these strange times. Should mention, too, the Deerfield website went live just on Friday, garagecountry.com. Put me in the mood for some nice acoustic stuff from Ian James. We'll head back into the vaults for some of that next.